Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal here with Long Beach Lenny and Colonel Bucky. Today's show is brought to you by Black Diamond PR Firm, representing actors, athletes, authors, musicians, and small business since 2007. Everything you do is public relations. Black Diamond PR Firm. We are your people. Visit them at blackdiamondfirm.com or call 877-256-3075. That's 877-256-3075. Tell them the circus sent you. All right, I want to extend also a big welcome to everybody listening on our NBC Sports affiliates from coast to coast. SB Nation right here in fabulous Las Vegas on Las Vegas Boulevard, KMZQ 670 The Score. Also on Oceanic Time Warner Cable throughout the Hawaiian Islands on Channel 882, and that's from KPHI 96.7 FM and 1130 AM, as well as, who else do we got, buddy? Who else do we got? We're missing one.
Oh, okay, you did NBC.
Did you say NBC Sports affiliates?
You said NBC.
iHeartRadio.
I know. Come on. I'm throwing you a line out there. You're supposed to say an iHeartRadio from around the world.
Oh, okay. We're mind reading today.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Just go with it. Right?
Yeah,
Just
go with it. Yeah.
And a big welcome to all of our listeners on iHeartRadio. All right, Lenny. So, hey, listen, man. We had some rhetoric thrown around that people were, of course, misconstruing, and they're saying, well, hey, wait a minute. We're not inmates, and what the hell happened?
Well, here's the deal, Sal, is that, some Texas players are considering staging a walkout. And now you would think, oh, no.
Texas. Are you referring to the Texas Rangers, or what are you talking about?
The Texans, Sal.
Oh, Texans. Okay. Got it, with an N.
There we go. NFL Texans are wanting to stage a walkout. And when we're looking at this, we're like saying, oh, no. I've had enough of this, Everybody's looking at the anthem. But no, it is not hardly about the anthem. They're walking out, considering that, Sal, following a comment by the team owner, Bob McNair, that compared the NFL players to inmates. And, Sal, we've said this particular type of statement. You've said it. I've said it. They've had it in plenty of movies where we say the term and the phrase. It's like the inmates are running the asylum.
Yep.
We've all heard that before.
Okay.
So now,
we all
now
have.
this is brought out, they're taking it this way, and they're wanting to stage a walkout.
So what about this? Now, we hear this all the time in the NFL. We hear the word, the hyphenated word sometimes, that would be jailbreak. Do we not? Do we suddenly say that there's a bunch of criminals on the field because there's something like that? There's, a jailbreak blitz or whatever the heck's going on the field. Now are they suddenly inmates? Is that really where we're going with this? That's an excellent point.
Well, why in the world, would people take offense to that? Because he's making a point, Sal, because of what is going on. How about the owner himself is a bit frustrated? How about the owner with sponsors maybe coming down his throat, on his back, the dwindling crowd size, the revenue out of his stream, the revenue stream out of his pocket because of all of what's going on. And he's trying to appease the masses, both sides. And I've heard a complete interview from McNair saying, look, I do support my players. I support the fans. We're trying to come up with common neutral ground. But is that reported, that the man said he's looking for common neutral ground? Not at all. They don't rewind. They don't even fish for that. They don't dig it out of the pond. They just find exactly what he said now, and we've always said that, were those your exact words, Greg Brady. And that's what they're keying in on, Sal. They're keying in on exactly what McNair said, and then they're magnifying it.
Okay,
blowing it up. Now they want to do a walkout.
Okay, so wait a minute. Now, he made a general statement. Now, the general statement is not geared towards a particular race. He was making a comment, apparently, about the whole population, right, in his team. So that would include everybody. It doesn't matter what your race is. But why is it that a certain group has to have sensitive feelings? I mean, do we need to give them a pat on the head and a gold star and a nice shiny apple, say, there, little Billy, life's okay. We didn't do anything to offend you. Bucky, chime in on this.
Well, this righteous indignation has got to stop.
Well, indignation. Hold on. Raider fans, what is that, Lenny?
Indignation. That's a very difficult word for the Raider
Let's get
fans.
back to you on that one. Go ahead, Bucky.
Indignation. Yeah, that's a hard one.
What'd you call me?
Indignation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's gotten to the point where you can't say anything. And this is infiltrated. Politics does not belong in sports at all, period. Now that it has, now you're going to have factions on both sides that are going to be upset over things that are simply said. And this is going to continue all throughout the season, and this is going to be the worst Super Bowl, I think, ever. People are starting to tune out, and don't forget the boycott, which is coming up on Veterans Day weekend.
Well, hell, that's been going on every week.
It's been going on every week, but it's really on that weekend in particular because that is the weekend that we're supposed to, show respect and honor to those who served in wars, and certainly this is just too much.
Okay, so here's where it gets worse. Now we've got all of this stuff. We have an overly sensitive crowd. Well, I know women like sensitive men, but I think this is really going overboard. But now we're crossing sports and enter Draymond Green. He opens his mouth and he sounds off against this nonsense. He needs to, just like that other moron that says stay in your own lane. Well, he needs to do that. Follow that basketball route. Stay in your lane and just shut the hell up. I'm going to preview my shut up for later in the show. But the fact is, now he's opening his mouth, and now it's going to go into basketball, and then pretty soon it'll go into something else, whatever. Lenny, this is getting out of control.
Well, with Draymond Green, it's typical insult to stupidity, okay? Draymond Green, saying that, well, I would never play for Bob McNair. And why must a microphone be put in Draymond Green's face? Do people seek him out after some comments made and say, I got to find out with Draymond Green? E.F. Hutton, everyone is listening. Draymond, the masses are waiting. What do you weigh in on this? Why do they even seek this guy out? Well, why do they?
I don't think they sought him out. I think he just opened his mouth and said, somebody give me a mic.
Even if he throws it out on Twitter, why are we giving this guy everything that he's come out? Draymond Green is just completely negative. I mean, it's just so raw, coarse, negative against the establishment that and his own agenda. There's no middle ground with Draymond Green. So, again, for them to go ahead and pump him up, give him some pub, give him some love and recognition, because of what?
I don't know.
Who is he? He's the fourth best guy on his team.
In the football world, he's nobody. Go ahead, Bucky, jump in. I know you want to say something.
Well, these people are offended because he said the inmates are running the prison. Why is it they are taking everything that is being said that they don't like literally? They are taking it literally. My mom is not a B word. Remember when Trump spoke out? That's what the players were saying. Now they're being compared.
And that actually went for everybody because he didn't single anybody out, Lenny. This was for the masses. And remember, there was a mixed bag of protesters too. It was from different races. It wasn't just one. So that would mean they're all SOBs.
But the point is they are taking them literally on what's being said, but they say that, hey, we're not protesting the flag when we're down on our knees. So what are we supposed to think? They're talking out of both sides of their mouth.
Right. Lenny, why don't we do this? Why don't we just give all of these players in the NFL, send them all a gold star to every one of their teams, and we'll send it by FedEx to make sure they have to sign for it, right? As a FedEx, you owe us money. So what we'll do is we'll send everybody a gold star, and maybe we'll send them a little blue ribbon so they could be number one. They can be the winner, whatever that means. And then they could just shut the heck up and play football and not mix politics.
Exactly, my friend. That's what they need to do. We're going to come back. How much we got, Buck? 20?
35.
I like the Gold Star idea.
Okay. When we end up coming back, we're going to talk a little bit about some World Series that's going on. Houston strong. We will announce who threw out the first pitch of the game, which is exciting as well. So anyway, come on back. We're going to have a special guest this next segment as well. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Sports Circus. We'll be back after a few commercial messages.
The sports world. It's a circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas.
Score, put the ball down, give it to the referee. And I don't even care if you slam it down, but you don't have to dance. You don't have to call your mom on the phone. You don't have to go
The Sports Circus is a 1-hour primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC News, and CNBC radio affiliates, plus Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, WOW cable TV affiliates across North America and nationwide in upscale hotels and resorts on hotel television in all 210 Nielsen-rated markets.
Just like a circus.
My life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last. Dickerson.
Jason Hook, Zarbler from Five Finger Death Punch.
Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
My name is Curtis Blow. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I'm here on the Sports Circus.
The Sports Circus brings top sports and entertainment content and is delivered fully produced and is easy pass-through traffic for radio stations. Simply drop the program in your traffic manager. The full 59-minute, 50-second file will coordinate with the clock. Your local station receives up to 4 minutes of local avails during the Sports Circus broadcast, and it's a great lead to live sports and entertainment.
Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, why not talk about commercial products who don't do what they represent to do?
Yes!
Big Billy here. He certainly knows something about making things difficult on the competition.
He's a punisher. Yeah, he just break the ribs.
Yeah,
I still haven't broke someone's collarbone yet in a boxing match.
That's a great statement. I have not broke someone's collarbone in the ring yet.
I've
never heard that before.
I can't
Is
wait.
there a reason you said in the ring? I can't wait. Is it that you've broken collarbones just outside of the ring? You did catch that, right? He said in the ring. Yeah, exactly. So he got him on the curtain. He got him on the edge of the ring and broke his collarbone.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
I had to get Sal's name right.
Well, that's Sal the floor sweeper. That's his new name.
Sal the bookkeeper. Hey,
Yeah, but even my name, even my last name.
Add that one to the bank,
But no, Alicia, you even got my last name wrong. That's why I said my
I know it
throat
starts
was
with a
bleeding.
V. It starts with a V.
He said a V. Really? Quick, where's the punch sound? 400 punches.
Here's the punch sound.
Right, exactly. Look, he almost knocked out the microphone.
Alicia, that's why they have cue cards, right? So don't let the name bother you. Just bring a cue card with you next
But
time.
people can't read my name off a cue card.
Well, change your name to Joe Smith or something. Jeez, make it easy.
This is Sal Tuzzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it on air that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. Also, you could call in and participate with our chaos if you dare. Join me and celebrity guests for Havoc and Mayhem. Remember, folks, it's a circus, and we prove it every day. I want to try to instill some of this winning environment for this particular team. What's been your experience? Kevin, we're going to start with you. What was your experience going from Team A to Team B and bringing that Super Bowl experience to the next team?
They were kind of getting on me, wanting me to chill out a little bit, not play a game on a Wednesday and Thursday. But I always felt that, you got to play at game day speed on Wednesday and Thursday so that you're instinctive and you can play on game day speed on game day.
The Sports Circus is received well on all radio formats and is currently aired on sports, news, and music stations.
Andre Reed.
Mario Andretti.
Herschel Walker.
Blake Firestone. Mike Haynes.
Jim Jeffco.
Rod Jaworski.
Al Bubba Baker.
Brett Saberhagen.
It's a circus and we prove it every day.
Aaron Fink. Breaking Benjamin. Jason Hartlett. Drummer for rock legend Ted Nugent.
Matt Starr, drummer for Ace Frehley from Kiss.
Phil Buckman, the bass player in the rock band Fuel.
Hey, brother.
Hey, we know quality content is hard to find, so if you're ready to have the Sports Circus in your market, give us a call right now at 714-948-0100. That's 714-948-0100, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Sports Circus, everybody. My name is Long Beach Laney, the co-host with Sal Tuzzolino, the ringmaster, and our producer, Colonel Bucky. We're being brought out now on NBC Sports affiliates coast to coast, iHeartRadio. We're also on Oceanic Time Warner Cable, channel 882 over KPHI 96.7 FM and 1130 AM, and our SB Nation radio flagship station in Las Vegas, KMZQ 670 The Score. Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Circus. And right now, on the line, I wanted to introduce our guest today. Our guest today is an Emmy Award-winning reporter and journalist, a Los Angeles icon of sports reporting who's covered not only all of the local Los Angeles sports team, but he has covered, more importantly, just about every sporting event you could think of globally. He is our original Rocky Mountain High from Colorado. Let us open up the circus tent and let in our friend, Mr. Curt Sandoval, with a round of applause.
Wow, guys. That's quite the introduction. Thank you.
Hey, good to have you on here, Curt. And, of course, right now, brother, we are involved in one of the biggest shows on earth, and that would be the World Series. Curt, we can look back here in SoCal, and I guess it has just been such a drought. And we've been through some rain droughts as of late, but baseball World Series droughts for the Dodgers, it just seems like Death Valley drought. And I wanted you to express, in your opinion, what does this World Series mean, in your opinion, to the people of Los Angeles?
From a sports standpoint, when I've only been here 19 years, and in that time, right before I got here, the Padres went to the World Series. Since I've been here, the Arizona Diamondbacks have won the World Series. The Colorado Rockies have lost in the World Series. And for the Dodgers, who were the shiny penny of the division, to not even go. And then you consider Los Angeles baseball fans are generational long. And through the thick and the thin, it has been incredible. And when they won the NLCS in Chicago, you saw fans just pouring out into the streets. The enthusiasm for games 1 and 2 at Dodger Stadium were epic, Lenny, because if you're at a Super Bowl or you're, at a major national championship in college, the crowd is divided. Obviously, they're playing later tonight in Houston, but those first 2 games at Dodger Stadium, epic, deafening, incredible. Should be a great series, too.
What did it mean when, especially, the Dodgers have such a rich history of players that have played the game, and when they ended up getting Jackie Robinson's widow up there, and then in Game 2, having Vin Scully come out there, and I got to tell you, Curt, didn't Steve Yeager behind the plate, didn't he look like he could probably catch a couple of innings?
Yeah, he still he does a lot of bench coaching still for this team, and as you mentioned on that second night, Vin Scully is just great theater, and sometimes you can measure how popular things are when you post them on social media, and it absolutely exploded when we posted what he did, and when he said bring out a lefty, a lot of people thinking Sandy Koufax, but instead Fernando. When that was going on, I kid you not, one of my friends works at a hockey factory called Shattuck St. Mary's that produces a lot of great NHL players. It's a prep school up in Minnesota. And in the middle of it, he just sends me a text, Fernando, are you kidding me? And you forget what, these people, Dodger baseball in the 70s and 80s was epic. And that's if that fan from the 70s and 80s, was 30, they're in their 60s now, and they're so. I'll tell you one. This is just a crazy story, Laney. Game 1, I'm media. I'm there ridiculously early. I remember when they let the fans in, and they opened the gates at 2 o'clock for a 5 o'clock game. And I just heard a couple of fans, like, with virtually no one else in the park, just screaming with excitement. We're here! We did it! 3 hours before the game. It was unbelievable.
You mentioned Fernando coming out for the first pitch. When I saw him coming out of the dugout, you know that we all made a joke of Fernando in 1981 that he looked much older than he did when he was a rookie. And I'm looking at him, Curt, with his dark hair, and he was always husky. Even as a pitcher, as a rookie, and in his years of play, he was always husky. And I thought, heck, with this pitching staff, even Fernando could probably give them a couple of innings.
Absolutely. And, we're in such a new generation with analytics and with video technology of baseball. And when Vin Scully said he had a year where he had 20 complete games, wow, that's mind-numbing in today's world. So, and Fernando, it's kind of weird, I'm not a beat writer by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm at Dodger Stadium quite a bit. He does the Spanish broadcast, so he's in the press box virtually every game. But to see the fans' reaction, that was a special night.
Absolutely. What did you think? What are your thoughts on when the Dodgers were just winning madly? I mean, they just couldn't lose. And then when they dropped off and they had that, it almost felt, Curt, like that old Brady Bunch episode where they had that tiki idol of Taboo around their neck, and they couldn't do anything right because you couldn't figure out. They still have all the personnel. The only one that really got injured was Cody Bellinger, and everything just went south for them. What are your thoughts on the highs and lows of that dynamic of the season this year?
It's funny that you bring up that, and that all that means is I'm old enough to remember it like you. And I guess we should start talking about Gilligan's Island next. But
there you go.
In terms of when they were on that run, and they go 43-7 in a 50-game stretch, you're thinking, wow. And the Tiki Brady Bunch comparison was Sports Illustrated putting out the cover that said, the question, best team ever, and literally that hit the newsstand on a Thursday. They won Thursday, they won Friday, and Saturday they started the tailspin. So Dave Roberts joked in the postseason first press conference that, Sports Illustrated got us. And honestly, there were a lot of factors. Injuries were a factor. Fatigue was a factor. I think the greatest thing that was a factor was stress. And crazy as it sounds, almost a good thing. But it's easy to say now they're in the World Series. But I wasn't sure. I'll be honest. I wasn't sure they were going to beat Arizona. Arizona was so hot coming in, and I was like, this is an average team right now. But, boy, they got right back to what they were during the stretch. And that's why I think, that game later tonight is critical.
Curt, this is Sal, your ringmaster, over here at the Sports Circus. I'm curious as to why Fernando, when he threw that opening pitch, or that first pitch, why didn't he look up in the sky like he did when he pitched for the Dodgers before? Did you notice that?
Is he there?
I don't know. Are you still there, Curt?
Curt, we can't hear you.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, now you're perfect. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I could hear you, and Sal, it was a great dichotomy in sports that the guys that are superstars, they kind of want to move on with their life, and they almost are embarrassed to go back. Conversely, the guy, and this is painting with a pretty broad brush, but a lot of guys who are, matter of fact, they're the opposite. They're like, oh, don't you remember I was there, And I think to answer your question, Sal, I think it was more Fernando, Hispanic, very humble. He considers himself a broadcaster now. And that's why, Vin had also said, this will be my last time on the field. I'm not going to come on the field.
So, Curt, do you think, that's a part of his delivery of the years that he was pitching. I wonder if he consciously thought of that. Maybe I better not look up to the sky when I throw this opening pitch. It's the first thing I thought of because, when you see him on the hill, and I'm a former lefty myself, and I remember watching him when I was younger, he always looked to the sky every time he threw the ball. And I'm wondering, that's the first thing I looked for when he was doing it.
Well, and I think a lot of people did, but what we don't know is when was the last time he threw a baseball?
Right. Well, I don't know. He looked like he's in pretty good shape for throwing the ball.
But you guys, release point is everything.
Right.
I saw, you guys remember the highlight like a month ago where this former high school quarterback got so nervous he hits a photographer in the crotch,
Yeah. Hey, we almost saw that on a throw from the catcher into second base. Or, I'm sorry, from the pitcher into second base, too. He missed by just a few inches.
And if he doesn't hit the ump, if the ump is not there, Dodgers win that game.
Right.
In game 2. He scores.
Right. But that was a game chock full of weird things, from the ball hitting the bill of a hat to that play, all the extra inning home runs, on and on and on. I mean, look, going back to what you were saying about the Dodgers falling out of that streak, let's face it, there's a real simple explanation. When you realize you're in the zone, you're out of the zone.
And here's the other thing, too. October baseball is not the same. In history, in the short history that I've covered baseball, I've been in broadcasting 31 years. I've been in a market with a major league team 25. And this is my third World Series I've covered. My wife used to work for Fox. She's covered, 7 straight World Series. So I love watching the World Series. The thing about the World Series is one thing, the bullpen. It's who's ever, got the best bullpen. When Verlander pitched in Game 2, he was virtually untouchable. The Dodgers scored 3 runs on 2 hits. But getting to the Dodger bullpen was a big deal. And I think that's the other part of, they were experimenting who's the right mix in the bullpen. And let's face it, as bad as that streak was, they knew they were going to win the division, and it just doesn't even come close to matching the intensity of playoff baseball.
Well, and also to finish up this segment here, we've got about, maybe 30 seconds. It would seem reasonable to assume that there are a certain amount of sabermetrics that go on for the regular season, but there needs to be a separate set. If they're going to follow that model, there needs to be a separate set for postseason because it's a very different dynamic. From the psyche to the players and execution. I don't believe that managing a bullpen the way both teams did in the last game is really indicative of the real sabermetrics model they're looking at. Anyway, we're going to be back in just a few minutes with 7-time Emmy Award-winning journalist for ABC Sports, ABC in Southern California, Curt Sandoval, back in a few moments.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. So all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday night.
He shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Didn't you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? That was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby? And let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone. Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game, I
I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby.
How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible.
Fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes. Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports. You get music.
Hey, this is Josie Scott from Josie Scott's Saliva, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Sports Circus. This is Long Beach Lenny, the co-host, with our ringmaster, Sal Tuzzolino, and our producer extraordinaire, Colonel Bucky. Wanted to highlight here some of our social media. You can get the Sports Circus also on Facebook at the Sports Circus. You can catch us also on Twitter, the Sports Circus, and you can go to www.thesportscircus.com. You can catch all of our shows that have been archived. You can find out who our latest and greatest guests have been and interviews. And speaking of that, right now we have on our show a fixture in Los Angeles sports reporting. That is our good new friend of the Sports Circus, Curt Sandoval. Let's get a round of applause for our guy, Curt, again. So, Curt, we so appreciate you coming on. Wanted to ask you a quick question here. This is kind of a little curveball here.
Okay.
If you got a chance to sit down and have a dinner with three people, past or present, in the world of sports, what three guys or gals would you want to sit down with?
The first one I would want to sit down with would be Anthony Keith Gwynn, Tony Gwynn. I just think he was ahead of his time in terms of video preparation. I've had conversations, in-depth conversations, but to sit down for an hour with Tony Gwynn, who I consider, the Ted Williams of his era, that would be one. Just because I'm from Colorado and I'm a fan, and I think his story is amazing, is John Elway. He was, a guy that was drafted by. There's so many elements of his story that I would want to talk to him about his father, who was a high school coach. When he moved to California, his dad found Granada Hills High School, the football program, before he found a good school. He wanted to find a passing offense. He, was drafted by the Yankees, of course, told the Colts no. Third one, boy, that's tough. I guess,
You could dig deep in the past. You could go wherever you want with this.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Why is Babe Ruth so much better at that time than everybody else? Was it his vision? Did he have 2015 vision? Hitting is a lot of this what's called sequential firing, where you're, firing your knees, your ankles, knees, hips, all in like a rocket ship, 5 rocket ship. Babe Ruth, and there's probably much more better than that, like Jackie Robinson. But off the top of my head, that's the curveball.
Nice. Hey, I wanted to just ask real quick, Colonel Bucky, our producer, do you have a question here for Curt?
Yeah, okay. I know that, Southern California, there's a lot going on there. I know Jim Hill. I went to the Los Angeles Broadcasters and met him many years ago. And I was just wondering, when you're there, I mean, there's got to be guys that you run into in the L.A. media, the sports media. Is there anybody that stands out to you that, maybe they've helped you in your career, maybe picked up a little bit from, or, you just keep running into and you have maybe a mutual admiration for each other?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the three people that come to mind is one is Jim Hill. I was working in Denver in the 90s, and I was working at a CBS station. He was at the CBS station, and this was during the UCLA run, the O'Bannons. And I really watched how Jim interviewed the O'Bannons live and how he literally put his arm around them. That would be one. Number two, believe it or not, is Phil Jackson. I've learned more when Phil was here about life and reading and taking life as a journey, no question. And the third is someone no one has heard of, but there was a photographer at our station named Artie Williams. He just passed away a few years ago. When I came to Los Angeles, so Artie moved out here to cover the 1980 Olympics from Virginia and never left. And he was at our station from 1980 until he passed away in 2015. And that guy was our sports photographer. He knew everyone. He covered, the Showtime Lakers. He covered everyone. And Artie was my secret weapon because he was the man's man. He was so polite, so honest. But my first, week on the job, they send me out to a golf tournament. I know nobody. And, it was a celebrity golf tournament, and Artie knew everybody and introduced me to everybody. He was like my guardian angel the first couple of years, and you don't get there without that. And that's a great question because it's honestly one of my favorite parts of our industry is what you learn from other people. And we talked about Vin Scully earlier. I'm a Christian. You know what I love about Vin is his humility. And I admire his ability to bring up God and that the good Lord has allowed him to do this. And you guys were very flattering with some things that I've done in my career. And you look at a man who broadcasts for over 60 years, and to have that level of humility is so inspiring for me.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it.
So Curt, I know that we had talked prior to the show, and I wanted to bring up a particular foundation that is near and dear to your heart. Can you tell everybody a little bit about the CAF?
You bet. There's so many great charities out there, and the CAF is based in San Diego, and it's a national organization, does a lot of work in L.A., really all over the country. Here's what the CAF is for your listeners. It's the Challenged Athlete Foundation. And let's just say, God willing, this never happens to any of us. But let's just say, Lenny, you were in a car crash and you lost your leg. Over time, you would learn to walk again through a prosthetic, and insurance would pay for the prosthetic. But you think about the veterans who have lost their leg or lost limbs. You think about young kids who were born with disabilities, and police officers who were shot and lost limbs or whatever. And insurance there's a different type of prosthetic to compete. And that's the driving force with so many people who are injured. They want to compete. They don't want to be stuck on the couch. They want to go do something. The Challenge Athlete Foundation, Robin Williams was one of their greatest sponsors. And he would do a show in San Francisco every year before he passed, and he would donate all the money to CAF. And what it does is they use this money. They just had their biggest fundraiser of the year last weekend. What they do is they use this money to get running legs, running wheelchairs, bikes for disabled. And then you just apply for this grant, and you're able to compete. I can't begin to tell you, I have several Emmys on my shelf because of stories on CAF athletes. And we're all put on this world to make a difference. And I don't think the good Lord put me on planet Earth just to to go cover a World Series. These are the stories that motivate people. These are the stories that change what we are as Americans. And CAF.org, if you ever get a chance to check it out, ever get a chance to compete in one of their fun marathons, or if you want to raise money for them, they set it all up for you. But that's what the CAF is, Challenge Athlete Foundation. Again, if you're ever in San Diego, stop by and you'll see what they do. It's incredible, and it's really dear to my heart.
That is great. I'm sure that our listeners can just look up on the web Challenged Athletes Foundation, and they could probably get a hold of them if they wanted to look into it further, or some kind of donation or anything like that.
Yeah,
that is great.
CAF.org, and it's good stuff. Even if you're not donating, take 2 minutes and read some of these stories. And I met a kid named Rudy. It was my first year out here. He was 7 years old. That was 19 years ago. A couple years ago, we did a follow-up on him. He was like 24, and he won multiple medals at the Paralympics. And he was born with 2 legs that didn't basically work. And he's at like 8. He said, "No, Mom, I want you to amputate him," because he wanted to compete. So it's incredible stories. I just recently did a story on a kid who was a gunshot victim. Lost his leg, and now through the CAF he has a leg to compete, not just to walk.
That is just incredible. Colonel, let's get some applause for that. That is such a great foundation there. Circus is definitely going to continue to support that beyond this. I know that I certainly will. I'm going to post that personally on my Facebook media, Lenny Adkins. I'm also going to tweet that at Long Beach Lenny with a number 4 at the end of it. Curt, we cannot tell you how much. We're going to wrap up this segment here. We appreciate you being able to come in here to the Sports Circus, sharing a little bit of your experiences as a reporter, and even more than that, thank you for sharing your heart as a human and as a Christian. We really appreciate the fact that there are people out there that are selfless, and it's just a matter of doing a little bit more for others that they can't do for themselves. So once again, Curt, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to have you come into the circus today. We sure do appreciate it.
Well, I should be thanking you guys. I really appreciate you guys using your platform to have me on and to talk about some of these cool things. Dig your show.
You bet. Bucky, how much time we have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have just spent a good portion of our time here with our good new friend here, Curt Sandoval, Southern California reporter for ABC 7 News. We are going to be coming back. We're going to be talking about some football.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark, friends. Hi, pop fly. That would be a home run in a phone booth. I don't know what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box? Here's the pitch. That might not sound important to some people, but when you're a little kid, especially from humble origin, and they cheat you out of a prize, there's a bouncing ball. Second baseman has the Barbary over to first. It's hard to think in laudatory terms of the product.
I think if there was an occasional box of Cracker Jacks that found no prizes for the little Harry Carey many years ago.
You got that right. And boy, when a box of Cracker Jack to me meant a lot of money. Here's a pitch, bounce foul. That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. 1 ball, 1 strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song. Here's a pitch foul back. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised, even to this day, some youngsters who buy a box of Cracker Jack don't find a prize in the box. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, here's a pitch foul out of play. Why not talk about commercial products who don't do what they represent to do? They told me when they hired me it was a temporary job. Born and raised in St. Louis, and you can imagine the Cardinals were my favorite team from the day I could remember. And all of a sudden, the miracle of life, I'm broadcasting Card games. I own the town and broadcast them for 25 years, and I thought they're going to give me a gold watch, and they gave me a pink slip. Then I went out to work for Charlie Finley for a year, and that's par for the course. Came to Chicago, and I was with the White Sox 11 years, and now with the Cubs. Never missed a game, never missed a time at bat, never missed a half inning that I was supposed to do. You know, Chicago is such a marvelous city. Hey, we got some Chicago people. You know, you never succeed in this business until you've had the experience of working with a terrible hangover. Not until you've been able to come through with flying colors under those circumstances can you consider yourself a professional. Lord knows, I've had more than my share of hangovers. There's a drive, way back, it might be, it could be, and it is. Holy cow, this crowd is wild.
Hey everyone, this is Darrell Evans of the 1984 World Champion Detroit Tiger. My favorite show to be on is the Sports Circus with Big Sal.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Circus. Colonel Bucky here, along with the Ringmaster Sal, and of course Long Beach Lenny over there in Southern California. We do want to say hi to everybody listening to us on our affiliates on iHeartRadio, also out there in the Hawaiian Islands listening on Time Warner Cable, our NBC sports stations across the nation, and of course our home base right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, SB Nation Radio. That's the Score, AM 670. This segment is brought to you by the Social Register of Las Vegas, the only private professional business networking organization with access to top business leaders with purchasing power. Their top-level executives and entrepreneurs make the financial decision for their companies. Visit socialregister.com if you want to learn more, or call them today at 702-256-0123. That's 702-256-0123. Call Claire the Cougar today.
All right, we need that Cougar sound. Okay, folks, I'm your Ringmaster Sal, back here with Long Beach Lenny and Colonel Bucky, and want to extend out a big thanks for Curt Sandoval, 7-time Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist for ABC over in sunny Southern California, over on KBC in Los Angeles. That was a fantastic interview, and Lenny, thanks for spending the time to research it. And I think that Curt really brought some insight in areas that we weren't really expecting.
This is true. That was good. Let me tell you, that was something. Can you imagine a young boy saying that, Mom, I want to have my legs amputated because there's a possibility that I can get some type of a medical or a prosthetic apparatus so I can compete. And I'm able to get those. Wow. That was something.
Lenny, we do have a scoring update. And if we had breaking news sound, I would do the breaking news sound. But we don't have the breaking news sound. But what we have...
That's it.
What we have is another victory by the Vegas Golden Knights over the Colorado Avalanche. 7-0. 7-0. Are you kidding me?
Can you believe these guys? Who are these guys?
Pull up the box score. I want to see the box score. That's crazy. 7-0. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, they have another game. I think it's, I want to say it's Sunday. They have one more home game, if I'm not mistaken. Then they're hitting the road. But my God, 7-0 against a good Colorado team. This year, this Colorado team is playing very well, and I'm blown away by the success of our beloved Vegas Golden Knights. How about a huge round of applause for them?
Yeah, that's just unbelievable.
I think the Colonel's right. He hit it on the nose when he said, who are these guys? I'm sure that people are looking at an expansion Golden Knights team coming into the league. And, Sal, you said it yourself. You're like, well, this team will be lucky to win like about, 20-something games this season. And here they are, ripping off, 7-0 wins, beating the Blackhawks, beating the Red Wings. Who are these guys?
That's 5 wins in a row.
They did not beat the Red Wings. They beat St. Louis. And they beat Boston.
St. Louis. There
right. No, Fleury choked against the Red Wings. But anyway, you've got a team that, all the right guys are scoring on this team. I'm looking at your scores. See, these are the guys that you would expect, but I'm a little surprised with 2 unassisted goals to start the game off. And basically what that means is we've seen two breakaways. Right, David Perron, a counter-punching offense, and Oscar Lindberg both get the first 2 tallies, and then we see a couple of power plays late in the third. All the right guys are scoring. Marchessault scoring, James Neal is scoring, Cody Eakin scoring. These are the guys, but if you look up and down the score sheet on the other games, everybody's getting in the action. So you're seeing a team defensively that knows how to collapse and protect their goaltender, and they're taking all the pressure off of Oscar Dansk, their third-string goalie. So it doesn't matter who you put in between the pipes right now. All the pressure comes from the offensive side, and they're making it easier on the defensive side. Pull the balance of that box score up. I want to see what the shots on goal were against. All right, so now I've got control of the mouse here.
Yeah, he's got the mouse.
Let's see. I'm trying to find this box score. Here's the stats. This is what we're looking at. All right, team comparison. We don't care about that. But I'll tell you what, that Colorado team is a quality club this year. It really is. Look, they got off 32 shots. So Oscar Dansk did face, 10 shots a period. That's a pretty fair amount. But the Knights only shot 21 times. 21 times. That's nuts.
And 7 goals.
Right. I mean, that's crazy. They're 1 out of 3. That's
1 out of 3.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
And they actually gave the puck away, 10 times versus Colorado's 4 times. That means they just hustled this game. And that's what this was. When I look at this box score, they played defensive. Remember, I just said they were a good collapsing defense. They had 20 takeaways versus Colorado only had 7. So that tells me they were smothering the puck on the defensive side, and you've got a team that put a lot of pressure on the offensive side of the puck. Now, only if our listeners up in the greater Buffalo and Toronto markets, if the Buffalo Sabres could play a brand of hockey like the Vegas Golden Knights. Folks, this is a model to follow. This is not a team loaded with a bunch of great players. The Buffalo Sabres have far better players than this club, but these guys are playing together, and there's really no mega contracts on the ice. That's what I like about it. But a huge,
wait a minute.
huge round of applause here.
The ball is hit deep to left field. 1-0 Houston.
Jeez, I thought you were in the bathroom.
Bottom of the second.
That's what it sounded like, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sounded like you were pinching one off over there, Sonny boy.
He's a little excited there.
Darvish just gave one up.
Oh, get over it. That's one run. It's one run. Darvish knows that. He knows that field. Darvish has been playing over there for years as the opposing team. So let's finish up on this hockey thing. I'm very impressed with the way the Golden Knights have handled themselves, and I think the league is really starting to say, we can't go into that barn over in Las Vegas, and we can't think we're going to get ourselves a quick victory. How many teams have gone in there, and how many teams have left with their tails between their legs? I'm very interested to see what they do on the road. Go ahead, Lenny.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have to see the tale of two teams. We have to see exactly how they're going to produce on the road. Now, if this team starts producing on the road, and they're doing the same at home, then you've got to look at this and, I guess, reevaluate it, Sal. You have to reevaluate an expansion team.
Well, right. It's what I didn't like that they did today is they actually released Jason Garrison, which was a very good defenseman from the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's where they picked him up. I'm very surprised they released him instead of some of the other kids. His contract wasn't that big. I don't like the move, but then again, what the hell do I know? I'm watching an 8-1 team now?
Yeah, 8-1.
I'm watching an 8-1 hockey team. I don't know crap. Don't listen to me.
Remember we said at the beginning of the year you have to have 9 games in to kind of get an idea.
But wait a minute now
of where you are.
Agree. You need a sample of 9, but the problem is we don't have a mixed bag of home and road games. It's mostly home games.
Okay.
We only have 2 road games.
And they did play Arizona twice.
Yeah, one on the road, and they played Dallas as well on the road.
Do I hear a bag of red vines over there?
Lenny? Go get a Q-tip and clean your ears out.
Okay.
No, but what I think what I'm hearing is, what is this?
I can't get a word in edgeways. Talk. But no wonder you're not sharp. You gotta always listen. Shut up.
Yes.
That's exactly what we heard, Sal. We heard the shut up. That is the signal, ladies and gentlemen, for the week. Something that you've thought of, that listened to in the world of sports, or just nonsense in general that you just want to tell them to shut up. My shut up of the week is definitely going to be for all of the Dodger faithful that kept telling me over and over, Lenny, this is our year of destiny. We're going to sweep Houston. This isn't even a challenge. And right now they're about to go down 2-1. So Dodger
they're
fans,
about to go down.
Dodger fans far and wide, I just needed to give you one simple phrase. Jump! There you go.
All right, mine is for the wide receiver for the Houston Texans, DeAndre Hopkins. He was so upset when he went to work today because of something his boss said that he had to go home and just digest everything that had happened to him. And of course, what was said is the inmates are running the prison, okay? That's all that was said. You can't take everything you disagree with literally. So DeAndre Hopkins, quit being a clown, get back to work, and shut up!
All right.
I like that one.
All right. Give yourself a round of applause for that.
Yeah, there we go.
There he is, applauding himself.
Anyway.
You guys goaded me into it. Though.
I know. All right, well, I'm going to give a shut up to my stomach. And the reason being is because I went to the hockey game. I ate my Red Vine currency bag here, and I can't crinkle my bag. So I ate a whole bag of Red Vines in literally 2 minutes of the hockey game. So I'm going to tell my stomach, shut up and don't get hungry when you're at a hockey game.
And don't eat your currency.
I ate my money.
Yes, you did.
All right,
There
exactly.
it is.
All right, so there's my
Currency of the circus.
there's my shut up. Hey, folks, make sure that you we're going to continue the madness here, of course. Make sure that you switch over to thesportscircus.com and pick up our streamer here for 670 The Score, SB Nation, and right when you click on our home screen, you'll see the nice highlighted link right across the page. Make sure you click on it, and you'll continue the mayhem with us. We've got about a minute left. And, hey, listen, we want to thank all of our fans across the world for listening into the Sports Circus because our following is growing. It's growing like mad. Our guests are getting bigger and better seemingly every week.
Yeah.
And guess what? Here we are running into 11 months for the show, and it has grown out of control in the almost 11 months that we've been on. So I think the Sports Circus deserves an enormous round of applause.
Yes. Oh, we've had former Super Bowl champions, former NHL champions,
NBA Hall of Famers, World Series winners. We've had them all. The only and we've had golfing champions as well.
That's true.
The one thing we haven't had is a NASCAR champion.
Okay.
Right?
Have to work on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We better call somebody. I'll tell you what, Bucky, we've got 20 minutes or 20 seconds. Get us out of here.
All right. There is more of this madness yet to come, and of course, we've got baseball going on. We've got hockey going on. We've got football going on. And who knows, there may be some bets. As you can hear, Lenny is challenging someone, I think. So you never know what's going to happen. Keep it right here on your favorite radio. That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
Attention businesses of all sizes affected by COVID-19. The federal government has introduced the Employee Retention Credit. It's a new relief program that allows you to collect up to $26,000 per employee. If your business was forced to close due to COVID-19, or you lost 20% or more of your sales, you may qualify for free financial relief. There's no limit to the amount you can file for, and you don't have to pay the money back. Call Park Settlement now. They'll explain to you how much you qualify for and how fast the funds can be in your business bank account. To find out if you qualify for the ERC program, call Park Settlement right now for details. There's no upfront cost to you, and you could receive up to $26,000 per employee. Call right now for details. 800-509-1238. 800-509-1238. 800-509-1238. That's 800-509-1238.
I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.